My assignment today is to I want to change the back of the car. I always had this boot-like arrangement, which is sort of not the most elegant, but I did it because it seemed like the best idea at the time. But what I want to do is I want to make a skin that goes over this whole back section, comes down to the back of the body here, but also then incorporates a proper glass window, because the Perspex windows are bloody terrible. They scratch up and very soon look pretty epoxy. But so I've got some aluminium left over from when I reskinned the bonnet, and I'll need to make a steel frame to go around where the window goes with a bit of spacing. So that's what I'm going to work on. I've got some 20mm RHS tube to make it out of, but this is the glass and rubber out of a Morris Minor Ute rear window. So it's the right sort of safety glass, and that's a brand new rubber. And but I need in the Morris, it has a steel frame that goes around to stiffen up around the windows to protect the glass from breaking. I'll have to make something similar to that, otherwise the window might break, you know, like with vibration and stuff. So I'm going to make a steel frame that sits out about an inch away from the glass all the way around, and but I just don't want it to be just square. I want it to sort of come reasonably close to mimicking that. My plan is to make a jig that will sit onto this piece of plywood, and then when I've made like a spectacle frame that'll go around the glass, I'll then make some little struts that radiate out from it to go to the to go to those frames on the roll bar. Oh, hang on, it can't just go like that, because it can't just go straight onto that, because it has to run parallel to that. Yep, good that I've spotted that. That's going to give me some issues that I have to work on. All right. Well, there you have one half of the frames that are shaped up. If I had the tools, I'd just roll this around, but I don't. So what I've done is I've made outside pie cuts for the sharp bends there, and inside pie cuts for the very shallow bend on the top. And I will tack the top ones together just tip to tip. And on these ones here, I'm going to run a piece of 3mm stock around the bottom of that, because I have to taper it in on the top edge a bit too. But that will work. Just with a bit of careful welding, and of course the other end I have yet to fold around and shape to fit my mark. That should work. Well, that's my spectacle frame all tacked up, and I've got a piece of strip around the outside edge on one side. I'll copy that on the other side, and then I've got to carefully try and weld that up without distorting it too much. It will take a long time, doing lots of little tacks and not doing any heavy welding. But also, because of the curvature on the back there, I need to just lightly shave a bit of height off this edge here. So I'm going to be splitting all of these little segments here, so that they will actually tilt down just slightly. I think it doesn't need very much, maybe a bit more in these center ones, but enough that I can sort of follow the curvature that I'll have on those back corners there. Of course, if I was doing a custom-made window rather than making it fit this Morris one, I could probably just do it any way I please, but That's not what I'm doing, and I need to get it right. One end done. Just going to grind it back now, and it should look quite respectable there. Of course, I've got to do the other side, but let's do this side first. Well, that's the one side welded on one side. I've still got to weld the other side, but that's it roughly centered where it's supposed to go, and the window goes in the center of that. But that looks like it's going to work, and all I need to do is add in a little strut from there to there, and one from there to there. The same on the other side, and then I should be able to stretch the skin over the whole thing, and yep, it should do the trick. And yeah, I'm well impressed with that. Of course, then I have to cut out the hole in the skin, but not too concerned about that. I'm quite pleased with how that's going to look, and it'll add a bit more strength to the roll bar, but most importantly, it'll give me a glass window out the back, and yeah, not too concerned, too upset about that. Trying to decide whether that's high enough. I suppose it is, and maybe I could take it up a bit higher, but no, I think that's probably about right. And once I've got that on there, I'll be able to stretch the aluminium skin over the whole thing. It would be nice to have one piece, but I don't have a big enough piece to do the whole thing. So I'll do one piece that goes over the centre and see how far around it goes, and I'll just put a couple of patch pieces in the corners. I can make it look like it's kosher. But you know, like that should do the trick. And I was going to cover it in vinyl, but I think I'll just leave it as aluminium and sort of do a neat little rivet job all around the window, and just sort of make it look more sort of aircraft-like, I suppose. And yeah, sort of liking the way this is going. Yeah, I think that it's going to work. Okay, here's where I'm at. I've made my spectacle frame, which will go around the window, and I'm just about ready to weld that in. Of course, I haven't taken any of the existing structure off yet, which I have to remove before I can weld it in. To weld it in, I've made these handy dandy little steel brackets. They're just little shaped pieces of 2mm steel that I will weld between the frame and the diagonals on the roll bar. I don't think I'll need any other structure because the aluminium skin itself will provide a fair bit of strength. The important thing of this is to provide a really nice support for the glass so that the aluminium skin won't flex and break the glass. And I've set it so that it will follow the contour there. It looks pretty big there, but once you add the lip on the inside of that for the actual for the glass to fit in and so forth, it's not that big. My brother Peter reckons I should glue the aluminium on with Sikaflex, so I might just buy a tube of that. I gather it's quite expensive, but it'll be worth it. And then of course I have to make my piece of aluminium isn't going to be quite enough to go all the way down, but I'm just going to put a neat little join with neat rows of rivets on the side there where it will have to join. Might have to beat the corners a bit to get it to go around that, so it'll be a compound curve there, but I should be able to metal shape that with a bit of luck. I'll get somewhere close. Anyway, that's as far as I've got so far. So the next stage will be to dismantle all of the existing back window and boot lid and all of that sort of stuff and take that all off. And then I will be able to weld the spectacle into the roll bar, and then I'll have to put a bit of paint on it, I think. Some trusty red paint. And then I can take the roof off and because that's just held on with 2 screws, and attach the aluminium skin. I'm really tempted to make a removable tonneau cover type soft top, because then I would be able to drive the car topless and still have some sort of standby weather protection for when it rains if I'm out. That'll take a fair bit of rethinking though, but it might be an interesting way to go. Anyway, something to think about. As you can see, I've actually made and test fitted the skin and cut out the opening for the window. I think it looks quite good. At the top corner here, stretching the skin, I'm going to have to do some little relief cuts, which won't matter because I'm going to cover the whole thing with vinyl. And to that effect, I might just have to open the window opening up just a bit more. But that'll be a little bit of trim with the grinder job. And of course the aluminium doesn't reach right down to the end here, but I'm going to make a new piece that comes down to here, and we'll fill in the gap there. And it'll be 2 pieces with a joining piece riveted on the inside, and that should hold it quite nicely. And I'll put rivets every couple of inches along there just to make it look respectable. And of course it'll all be covered in vinyl and should look the business. Yep. I was going to make a new bar across the top, but the bolts are not long enough for the thicker piece of steel that I've got, so I'll stick with the original one I made for now. And that should do. Though I would like to have would like to make a vinyl bikini top that will go on the top there. I think that would work pretty good. Anyway, I've got to go and fix my daughter's room now.